Hey everybody, welcome back to Walking with Jesus Daily. This is day 185. This is the meat section. This is where we get the goods. This is where we start the barbecue. So let's dig into this. I'm going to be reading the mashup ESV version of this lesson for today. Okay. And after sending away the crowds, he immediately got into the boat with his disciples and went to the district of Dalmanutha. Okay, so we've talked about this a little bit in the other one. This Dalmanutha, or also in Matthew 15:39, it says, after sending away the crowds, he got into the boat and went to the region of Magadan and Dalmanutha. This is that same place there. Okay. So what this is saying is he is leaving the area that he was, and he's going to a new area. He went from a Gentile place to a Gentile place, to what is considered kind of a Gentile place from what I've been reading, but there are clearly Pharisees and Sadducees here. Now, what is the importance of what we already have? What we already have is that Jesus did not set up camp with these crowds of people. Jesus did not set up camp and stay months on end with crowds of people. He was constantly moving, constantly traveling place to place, healing and teaching. But as we spoke about in the milk, imagine that you have an important message from the king that has to get out to the battlefield, right? And on your way out to the battlefield, you need to speak to the general or whoever. Okay, and you encounter on the way various different captains or whoever on the way, and these captains say, if your message is true, then prove it, fight this battle, and if you prevail, then we'll let you continue on to your next thing. And they're like, of course it's true, it's from the king and has his seal on it. And they're like, well, we don't really know. So you have to fight the battle. You win, obviously, and he's like, okay, you can advance. And you go to the next one, and you go to the next one, and you go to the next one, and it's like 10 battles in, you're like, I've won every battle. You guys should know by now. This message is for the king. Is from the king to the people in the battlefield. This is important that I get this message out. You guys have got to stop stopping me. Imagine Jesus is sent from God with this incredible message for us, and all people want: prove that you are who you say you are. Prove that you are who you say you are. Oh, well, that's not good enough. Elijah called down from heaven and God sent fire. So we would like you to do something like that. We'll believe you then. Okay? So anyway, he dismisses the crowds. He gets into the boat. He travels over to the district of Dalmanutha. And the Pharisees and Sadducees, okay, and let me put something out there for you real quick. This is the equivalent of, and the Republicans and the Democrats came and began to argue with him. What is it? The enemy of my enemy is my friend. What's happening here is the Pharisees and the Sadducees, who do not get along, and you can go into a great detail on who these people are. One of them believes in an afterlife. One of them does not. One of them believes the prophets and so on. That's the Pharisees. And the Sadducees do not believe in an afterlife. They only follow the Torah. They live completely different kinds of lifestyles because of this. Imagine if you lived in a way that there was no afterlife. You would live probably differently than you live now. But regardless, they're coming together because their common enemy, Jesus. What they're realizing as the political powers of the time is that if we don't stop this guy, he is stealing votes. He's stealing people away from us. I used to have so many people that followed me, and now Jesus has ruined that for me. We can't let this happen. So it says, they came and began to argue with him. Imagine you're going to argue with Jesus, but whatever. That's okay. That's worse than arguing with your wife. Okay, you have no chance of winning this battle. Seeking from him a sign from heaven to test him. So seeking from Jesus a sign. So what are they basically making this equivalent to? They're Elijah, right? Elijah called down from heaven, and God rained fire down and consumed an offering that was meant for him. A waterlogged, sitting in a puddle offering. And God consumed it with fire. All right? So they're arguing with him about who he is, and they're basically saying, if you are who you say you are, prove it. Okay? We may face this exact same thing to some extent or another. Those words should never come from somebody. Not to us. Not that they won't, but our lives should be the proving ground of our beliefs and of who we are and of how we love. And it says, and he sighed deeply in his spirit. He sighed deeply. Deep down inside, he was bothered. This bothered him. And he spoke up and he said, why does this generation seek a sign? Why does this generation seek a sign? Not like this one generation of people, but why do people seek a sign? Why can't you believe? Have I not done enough? Like, you have followed me. I have not said anything that is wrong. I've done incredible miracles. I've taught in incredible ways. I'm trying to get you to understand what the truth is. And then you question that, and I heal people because I love them, because I have compassion for them. And yet you still say, show me a sign from heaven? I mean, for real? I am the sign from heaven. I already came down. If you knew how I got here, I mean, even if you do know it, you won't believe it. He says, and when it is evening, you say, it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. So you look at the sky, and you can tell that from the color of the sky that the weather should be pretty decent. There's a pretty good chance of it being okay. And in the morning, you say, it will be stormy today, for the weather, for the sky is red. I'm sorry, and in the morning, it will be stormy today, for the sky is red and threatening. So apparently, and this is just an indirect lesson here, bonus track. If the sky is red in the evening, good. If it's red in the morning, bad. So just kind of keep that in mind going forward. Not something that I was privy to before. So Jesus couldn't even talk to me about this, like he's going to say. And he says, you know how to interpret the appearance of the sky, but you cannot interpret the signs of the times. He's saying you can look at the sky and you can know and understand and believe that it is consistent, right? That it is true, what's coming, because of how it looks. It gives you a warning of what it is, what it's going to be. It says you can look at it and see the appearance of it and believe it, but I'm literally standing in front of you and you do not see. Seeing you do not see, hearing you do not hear, lest you understand. This is all prophecy. This is all humans. This is what we do. We're great at it. He says, an evil and adulterous generation seeks for a sign, but no sign will be given to it except the sign of Jonah. So he's talking to the Pharisees and the Sadducees. He knows their hearts. He knows good and well that if he walked through that crowd, walked right up to a Pharisee or a Sadducee that was very sick and healed them on the spot, it would change nothing. He knew good and well that if he called fire down out of heaven and held it within his hand, it would do nothing. It would be another, air quotes, story that people told so that we could believe that there's a God. It would be a very difficult faith and easy to shake if you based your faith off of the miracles that are written about in the Bible and only that. To love God and to love Jesus and to know them is more powerful than any witness or any witnessed miracle that you could ever see. What does he mean by no sign other than the sign of Jonah? The 3 days and the 3 nights in the belly of the fish. He will be 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the earth. Dead. I'll be dead for 3. And then I'll be alive forever. And then I will no longer be a humble servant and made of flesh, but I will be King Jesus. I will have all authority over heaven and earth, as I have always had, except I will have completed God's mission of saving his people. It's so much easier when we see it for what it actually is. It's a loving father and his plan to save his children so they can come be with him. God didn't mess this place up, we did. But if we know how to interpret things, okay, let's say you're not good with the sky. Are you good with a gas gauge? All right, let's read it now. If the gas gauge there is pointed towards the L or the low, what that means is you're not going to make it very far if you don't get some more gas and try to point that there finger over to the F for full. In the same way, make sure your gas gauge works. All right. He says, truly I say to you, no sign will be given to this generation. You're not getting one. I just did 1,000 of them right across on the other side of this water. Go ask them. I've done 1,000 over here. I've done 1,000 up there. I'm going to do 1,000 more. I'm just letting you guys know ahead of time that already done it. There's a song, if you don't know me by now, you will never, ever, ever, ever know me. I just can't help but hear that as like the theme song of Jesus walking around city to city. It's like, if you don't, you know how the song goes. If you don't know me by now, if you don't believe by now, you're never, ever, ever going to believe. You're never, ever, ever going to know me. So, it says, and he left them, got into the boat again, and went to the other side. He literally went all the way across the water. And now, if we're thinking about this from human terms, we're like, what a waste of time. He goes into the boat, goes across the water, visits people 3 days, gets back in the boat, travels to the other side, gets out of the boat, has one conversation, gets back in the boat, and travels back to a different place. Guys, it's in the journey. Look at the precious time he has with his disciples. Precious time where people can't press in on him and he can teach. Precious time where he can show that he still sits in a boat even though he can walk on water. Precious time that they can know that if a storm were to rise up, that Jesus can squash it. Right? So he leaves them, gets in the boat again, goes to the other side. And says, when the disciples reached the other side, they had forgotten to bring any bread. Okay. This really shouldn't be much of an issue. I'm thinking they forgot to bring bread because they immediately got back into the boat so quickly. But how would I really know? What we don't get is all the teaching that took place in the boat. Imagine being part of one of the prayers of Jesus. I don't know. There's so many things that I think would just be incredible. But anyway, they reached the other side. They forgot to bring any bread, and they had only one loaf with them in the boat. And surely one of the disciples was like, one loaf? That could feed the entire city we're going to. We're fine. As long as we have a crumb, I'm pretty sure Jesus can give us food. Not to test him or to challenge God, but I mean, come on, for real. But that is not what took place. Because Jesus knows the hearts of men and he speaks to them. And Jesus cautioned them, and this is cool because Jesus knows their hearts, right? So he knows that they're talking about the bread, most likely. He knows that this is bothering them. And Jesus cautions them. And this is what he says, watch out. Watch out. Beware. Those are three words. Those are three words we should really be aware of, right? Watch out, beware. Okay, watch out, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and Sadducees and the leaven of Herod. Now, we know what he's saying because he goes on to explain it, but let's just sit in this for just a second. A little bit of leaven, when mixed in, can go a very, very long way. This is yeast, right? Same thing? Same kind of thing? Okay, so if that's true, if it can go a very, very, very long way, a little bit can make a big change, then we can't let a little bit of untruth mix into a life full of truth. We can't let a little bit of sin mix into a life of holiness. We can't let a little bit of the world mix into a life of Jesus, right? Is that not what this is saying? Saying their teachings are toxic. You can't let even a little bit will completely change you. Do you think that perhaps he's talking a little bit to Judas here? I don't know. Could he be forewarning Judas? Don't listen to him. Don't listen to him. They will eventually convince you. Their father is the prince of deception, the prince of this world, the father of lies. Herod is no better. He is not out for you. He is out for himself. He will do whatever it takes to remain king. He has already tried to kill me as a baby. Do you remember the slaughter that was talked about in Bethlehem? Okay. And they began discussing it among themselves, saying, "We brought no bread." And Jesus, aware of this, said to them, O you of little faith, why are you discussing among yourselves the fact that you have no bread? Do you not yet perceive or understand? He's saying, I'm not talking about bread. I just have to be clear here because I feel like you guys think I'm talking about literally bread. I feel like you guys think I just made a comment, an off-the-cuff comment about leaven because you have forgotten to bring bread and I'm hangry. That's not what's happening here. He once again says to them, you have little faith. Now imagine too, you're in the disciples' place and how it's got to be just so nerve-wracking to just think, I just want to do things right. This is the Messiah. How there's no way he wants to keep me around. I'm not worth keeping around. I've got to do something right. Anything. I've just got to do something right. And they're just so hyper focused on the temporal things that they can't do right or can't understand. They just want to prove their worth to Jesus. And Jesus is like, I already picked you. I don't need your value. I need you to listen to me. I need you to do what I'm asking you to do. Guys, he says that to you. He says that to me. He says, are your hearts hardened? Like, do you not understand? Is your heart not softened enough to receive what I'm teaching? Having eyes, do you not see? And having ears, do you not hear? He's like, surely you remember the miracles that I've done. Surely you've heard the words that I've said. But can you not believe what your eyes have told you? Can you not believe what your ears have heard? Can you not understand? Are your hearts so hardened that they can't get it? Have you heard the whispers of the Pharisees and the Sadducees and of Herod? Do you not remember? Guys, we forget so quickly. Stories that get handed down from grandparents to parents to kids to grandkids, or great-grandkids rather. They just become like, well, that was 100 years ago in a different time. They weren't cool like we are now, bruh. He says, do you not remember when I broke the 5 loaves for the 5,000? How many baskets full of broken pieces did you take up? And they said to him, 12. And he's like, yes, we were with the Jews. We had 5 and 2. That makes 7. We fed over 5,000. And then we had 12 baskets full. That's the 12 tribes of Israel. Right? Remember? Do you remember that? Okay. What about this one? Hold on. And the 7 for the 4,000, 7 being a complete number, right? And the 4,000, this is a Gentile nation. How many baskets full of broken pieces did you take up? And they said to him, 7. As in it's complete. And then he says this, how is it that you fail to understand that I did not speak about bread? When I told you, beware the leaven of the Pharisees, the Sadducees, and Herod, I was not talking about what they used to make bread. Okay? I'm not. We've got to get into spiritual teachings here. This is why this is the meat section. Jesus is doing the same thing. Here was the milk. Now I'm teaching you the meat because you didn't understand the milk. You can probably eat their bread. Some of them are probably great bakers. However, that's not what I'm talking about here. Beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and the Sadducees, he says it again. Then they understood that he did not tell them to beware of the leaven of the bread, but of the teaching of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees. Now do please keep in mind that these are not These are not highly educated people. It doesn't take going to Bible school or Bible college to understand the teachings of Jesus. It actually takes the Spirit of God to understand the teachings of Jesus. More than anything, that's what it takes. Please understand that. If you don't feel like you're smart or you can understand things, just ask God. Pray for wisdom, and He will give. He will give and give and give and give. Pray for more of His Spirit, and He will give and give and give and give and give. But we've got to be aware of what other people are saying, and we've got to be aware of what Jesus is saying. Guys, we have to believe. They were witnessing things and had trouble with their faith. We've witnessed none of these things. We believe them, but we didn't witness them. I got to be honest with you, if I was standing there and I watched a person's hand go, I think about this so often, go from withered to normal, I would honestly think it was some kind of an illusion or magic or a trick of the eye, or, well, your hand was never crippled, or you were never blind, or, right? Like, I can't make sense of it in my flesh, so then it can't be real. And Jesus says, I don't work in the flesh. Like, the flesh stuff, this is easy. Spiritual teachings, this is hard. Guys, let's see Jesus. Let's hear His teachings. Let's believe. Let's have great faith. What would life look like with great faith? All right, guys, be very careful, please, what you listen to today and every day, what you watch today and every day, what you think today and every day, what you fill up on today and every day, who you talk to today and every day, and what you talk about. There are Pharisees, Sadducees, and kings all around you, and they don't care about you at all. The very little bit that they do care about you is only so they can have some kind of gain. Just look for it. You'll see it. It's not hard. I love you guys very much. I'll see you tomorrow.